Hello, good evening, welcome. My name is Sabin Dako. Welcome. I I want to share with you something about startup, something about business, and as usual, that's where the passion is. That's where the input would have to be. So welcome. And what I want to talk about is debt obstructions. Debt obstructions. Don't start with loans. Don't start with loans. I was talking to this gentleman the other time. He has worked with somebody for a while, maybe 5 years or 7 years or so. And as usual, most people would want to start their own businesses. And so he was asking me, what do you think I should do? I've been trying to start a business. And so I asked him, what kind of business do you want to start? And he said that, you know, this same business that I've been doing for this month, I want to start, but I'm looking for investors, like what people would call investors, which means he's looking for money from people to start the business. Then it struck me, majority of the people who start business in our country, most people, most people, when you hear business, they say that, contract from government, they are looking for supply contract, construction contract, something like that. And when they start like that, usually when they are given the contract, they'll go to look for loans from friends, from families, from banks, from microfinance, and then when they are able to execute the contract, usually what drives people to do this kind of thing they call business is money. So they have given him maybe 100,000 contract, which they have all kind of ways and means to get, and then they say that maybe you can use 50,000 to do it, and then you have the 50,000 as profit. And usually most people who do that, they already have something that they want to do with the 50,000 and the projected 50,000 that they have. So they look for friends, they talk to everybody, say that I have this contract, now I'm in business. So I have this contract, I need 50,000. So they go and the person will say, okay, 50,000, no problem. How much would you pay me usually? So maybe 5% a month or 10% a month. Oh, when I do the contract, maybe within 3 months, they will pay me so that even if I take 10%, I can have something left. I do it because that's what most people call business. They take somebody's money, they put it into this, and they think they are perfect in their mind that once they put the money there, everything will work as taught. And that's where that is not a business. That's another way of getting revenue. A typical definition of business, this does not fall into it at all. And yet, that's what most of us know, or that's what most people would even come close in terms of thinking of business. So, what I call debt obstruction, don't start with loan, because I've seen that most people get bent, myself included. We have gone through a lot of mess because we did not hear this or we did not understand what they mean by don't start with loans as a business. What you have got to start with is something that's not loans. And if it's really a business, sometimes if it's really a business, you're not going to start with contract because there are requirement. For instance, construction business. If you have to win a contract, usually they have classification. And if you have to work with the government, you go through tender. And so there will be some minimum requirement before they give your company a classification. Whether they give you all those classification D1, K1, those things that they give. Before you qualify, there should be a certain number of, workers that you should have, a certain number of machines that you should have, some kind of finances that the business may have generated. Things like that. If you did those things genuinely, you will see that there will be a lot of things that you understand. Usually, that's not what we do. We do all kind of ways to get all those things, and then we do all kind of ways to get a contract, and then we have all kind of ways to get money, and then you go and lock yourself with something, and by the time you see it, you find yourself in big hole, which continues to sink because you went for somebody's money. You went for microfinance money, because microfinance, really, if anybody should give you money to on a project, they should assess you. They should assess how many years you have done the project, or you have run a business of that sort. Whoever is paying you, are they credible? They should also know that the interest rate that they're giving you is sustainable, something that you can handle. None of those are usually considered. They just look at the project and they look at their interest 10% a month, which is non-starter. If anybody should give you credit 2% a month, 3% a month, 5% a month, they are all not business. They're just something that you're just going to waste your time, kill your vision, kill your drive, waste a lot of resources. And that's what most people find themselves in, because what they are building is not really business. What they are building is they are looking for extra income. If it's a part of business that you are building, it's a whole different thing. It's a whole different thing. And so don't start. Don't start. The first business, don't start with loan, especially not the ones that the microfinance people are giving you. Not the one that, even if they are not taking interest from you, the likelihood, the probability that you lose that money is like 90 out of 100. If it's your first business, if you talk to anybody who ever tried anything, the first money that came to them, whether they pick it from their friends or family, is so likely that you will lose it. And so it should be something that you're developing gradually with maybe the money that you have, or maybe somebody's money that they will not so much need that money. And it should not even be a loan. It should be something that somebody wants to just be part of your idea. If it's a loan, I mean, you're going to lose it. If it's a first business, you're going to lose it. So you don't need a loan. So if it's a first business and you're likely to lose it, why are you going to take somebody's money? Some of these institutions who don't do anything, and that's why most of them have troubles now. That's why whether the people who took the loan or those who were giving the loan, all of them have troubles now, because businesses are run with data. A lot of these things, the facts are there. If we knew them, we will know where to step and where not to step. So the loan that you're going to start that business with is likely that you're going to lose it. So you would want to develop yourself gradually than to start that business with that loan, because you will find yourself wanting. In most places where a lot of businesses are developed and developed and structured and built, that's not how they started. If you're somebody who just breaks a lot of things, it's likely that your first business got into a lot of problem, because there's not much thinking that got into it. And when you meet anybody who did start a business and got into trouble, it's not because it's not because there's the demon, it's not because there's witchcraft anywhere. It's because there are a lot of things that we did not consider before we started the business, and much of it is the debt, the loan that you start, because you don't start a business with loan. And so this guy that I was talking to, he thinks that he's very wise, he's smart, he's smarter than the guy who is working with, and so he's looking for investors' money. My take for him was that, listen, if your drive is just to get money, and you think that, because he was talking, salary, you cannot build assets with salaries and things like that. So I was hearing him, I was listening. But I told him that, listen, just as much you think that the man who owns the business has a lot of the money, the same, there will be a lot of pressure if you're the one to start the business. Okay, so just as the man is benefiting, if you think that the man has money because he started a business, so you don't want to follow the lie, you also want to start a business, which is a good idea. But be prepared for the same kind of stress, the same kind of discomfort. And starting with loan is not one of them. You should be able to start with whatever you have and be ready to go through a lot of the pressure, a lot of the stress, to build it to a stage that if you would need money at all, once the money comes, you know exactly what the money is needed for. Once you have not understood anything about business, you don't even understand yourself. You don't even understand the concept. You don't even understand the business that you're doing. You don't go and pick somebody's money, you will lose it. And then it becomes something that you have to deal with for the next 10, 20 years. Okay, because that's not the way you start building business. Businesses are built with innovation, with creativity, with thinking, with patience, with a lot of energy, exertion. So maybe you're developing a product to the market. You have seen a product that you think that people will buy. You start to test it bit by bit to make sure that it's something that can be received beyond your friends and your family. Something that you test on the market. Maybe it's a concept, maybe it's a retail concept that you're developing. You have to develop it beyond your friends and your family, and you have to develop it gradually. And if you have to have any big money, maybe the business that, usually when you're starting business, they say write business plan and all those things. And maybe you did the money you need 100,000, and you don't have that 100,000, so you're thinking of going to borrow. Even if you qualify to borrow, don't go and borrow that to start a business that you have never done before. Even if you're working somewhere, because working somewhere is just one bit of what it takes to run a business that you know. There's a whole lot that if you are the one in charge. So if they say 100,000 and you have 1,000, maybe you would want to start 1,000. They may tell you start a very nice office, buy a car, buy a computer, buy a telephone, dress, print business cards, do website, all those things that they put all of them together and cost them for you. Don't do that from the beginning if that is your first business. You would want to leave that money, start with the one that you are comfortable in losing. So maybe you want to start with 1,000 and then just gradually see if the idea will pick. Because that way you really test your passion, you really test your strength. If you just go around to pick anybody's money into an idea that you have not tested, you will be in trouble. Because for most people, 100,000 will be huge money for them. If they lose it, maybe they may never be able to get that money back quickly. Because the thing is, a business that loses money, or a business person or entrepreneur who loses money, usually, if they lose the money after they have done the business for a while, they will find a way to because business has a way of bringing in big money to offset whatever problems that you may have had. But if it's green, you are green, you don't know, and you lose 100,000, it's going to be very difficult for you to get that money back. So businesses are built with innovation, with scale development, constant scale development, with thinking, with planning, more than just going to pick somebody's money to go and put it in something. And usually the people who will pick somebody's money to put in a business usually are the people who went for contract. And contract and those things that you're picking from government, they are not really typical definition of a business. A business should be able to have some things to be called business. For instance, you should be able to project or predict the kind of revenue that you're going to get, for the next 6, 7 months or 2 years, 3 years. Usually, if you're depending on contract and you're depending on all these connections for contract, it's just favor that some people are giving you, or because they want a bit of it from you. That is not something that you can predict, and that's not something that you can easily control. So you don't say that, oh, I get Cocoa Board has given me a supply contract. All the connections that you did to get the supply contract. So really, that is not so much business, and that's why most people who go this path along the line get themselves in trouble, and they don't seem to be able to grow the skill, the expertise, and to be able to leverage, and build as a business, because that is not really a typical entity that you can call business, because there's nothing that you can control, there's nothing that you can predict, and you don't grow in terms of structure and thinking. They pay you the time they want to pay you, and if you have got for somebody's money and you're paying a lot of interest, you lose everything, because that's not business. A business must be built gradually. So maybe you want to start a poultry farm. You build it gradually. You are learning. You are developing it, maybe from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. You're growing it. Maybe you want to start a cassava farm. You are building it with your strength, with your expertise, because the best of investment that you need to build a business is what you are. The guy involved, the lady involved in the business, what you're learning every day, and the business grows when your capacity is growing, when your thinking is growing, when your expertise is growing, when your ability to handle the model is growing, when your ability to handle the people is growing, when your ability to manage the finances is growing. That's where there's a business. You can project, you can predict. But if you just follow these guys where they are just giving you money everywhere, and they slap some interest rate on you and you're doing a lot of connections to get that, you think that you're building business. That's no business. And that's usually, if you meet anybody who has been stressed, worried, been pained, who has gone through a lot of pressure, and who is saying that business is difficult, business is difficult, business is difficult. Yes, his business is difficult because what we started with, really, we call it business, but it didn't qualify to be business. It looked like one, but it never won because there's nothing like you could control, there's nothing like you could predict, you were not growing in terms of scale until you've been able to redefine and restructure something like that into a state that you can control and predict. It's not a business that you're developing. So most of people would call me, oh no, because you when your contract. That's you're just doing the contract for money. And that is not something that you're building as a business. So don't start to build uh, that idea, that concept, no matter how it looks like, because it's likely that at the end of it, it will put you into big trouble. Because what you are is a bait, the bait is the money, and you don't start business thinking first of the money. If you think first of the money, it's a bait, which means that you're ready to just do anything to get money. And you will call it business, but really that's not business. It's just something that you're doing to support yourself. And that's why most people who you see go to the microfinance people, go to all these guys, go to all the businesses that are having a lot of challenges. Go and look at the components involved in building business and see that none of it is in existence. None of it, or not many, are in existence because it's a vision that you're building, it's a concept that you're developing. You see a need that you're solving, and you see that you're learning, you're packaging it, you're solving problem somewhere, and you start to enlarge, spread it so that it can benefit a lot of people. Then it's a business. You can project that if you do more, it's a lot of it is in your control. Not everything can be controlled, but a lot of the business, especially when it comes to the flow of cash, whether it's the expenditure or the revenue, a lot of it is in your control. Then it seems like something which is business, which means the more committed you are, the more learning that you get to do, the more you develop yourself, the more the business will grow. If anything is like that, it becomes a business. But if the majority of the things that we are doing here, when we call business, supply contract, construction contract, all those things that you are going to meet your friend and they're signing all kind of things, doing those are not business. Oh, those are not business yet. They don't look like business. It doesn't matter. They can give you 100 million project. They can give you 200 million. The drive is money. Sometimes there are a lot of us who don't even have any expertise in this. We just want the money. The drive is the money. If it's something like that, the one who is doing something that you can predict, maybe he started to sell ice water. He doesn't need any connection. The more he can go to the market to sell, the more he gets revenue. He can predict that I need 1,000, and if I sell, I will get 2,000. I will pay myself this. I'll use this to pay transport. I'll use this to pay this. I'll use this to pay this. That person can develop that concept into a better business than the other guy who's looking for all the connection work that we know, because most people think that once you go to meet some of these guys and they give you this thing they call project, this thing they call contract, you think that you're building a business. That is not a business, because when that person who gave you that contract is not there, so usually you don't even qualify. It's not that they even qualify. They don't qualify. They just say that, okay, I have this new position, there are projects here, so you come. And sometimes you follow it for years before they even publish it, and then they do all kind of things and give you. And you think that you're doing business. That's not business at all. And that's where most people go to borrow. We go to borrow this, pick money from friends, pick money from everybody, go and put it in this thing. And by the time you finish, they have changed that guy there. Somebody is telling you, unless you bring this, they're not going to pay you. Then the thing is that you went to borrow from this allergy or microfinance people, and everything starts to fall on you. And you thought that you were doing business. It didn't look like business. You thought that you're doing business. That's not business. If it's a business, it's something that you're going to build gradually. It's something that you can control. It's something that you use data analysis. You sit down, you plan, you structure. You can project. Even if you fall under the projection, you can still think and say that, okay, this is what, if you have 2 people to do this, if you can get 10 people to do it, this is the projection that you're going to make. You're building gradually, you're growing gradually, and you seem to have, in terms of cash flow, you seem to get money every now and then. The other one, that is project, you can work for 4 months, 5 months, even though you have gone to borrow somebody's money, you can continue to burn the cash, spend the money every minute, every day, for the next, say, 7 months, and yet they have not even paid you. And because you did not even understand it, you didn't even know what you were doing. Because in the initial stage, somebody had to hold your hand and go and help you to pick all these documents, and you didn't understand what you're doing, and so you thought you were in business. Something that you don't understand, something that you have never done, don't go and take a loan to put in and call it a business. It's your future that you're destroying like that. And if you're not strong, that thing can break your drive, that thing can break your passion, can break everything. It can put you in big trouble. That's why you meet people like that. They say that I was doing business, I got into a lot of trouble. It's because you were not doing business. You do a connection and you call it business. And that's what we do here. That's what much of us do. So there's not concept. You're not developing anything. You're not developing any. You're not modeling anything. You're just connection. So they pay you. The thing about it is that it's like most of these guys who give money to some of these institutions. They pay you 10% every month for the next 3 months, and you're very happy. What you don't know is that thing that you are even putting, that thing that you have put that money in, you don't even know how they use the money there. You don't understand it. You don't understand the product. You don't understand anything. The only reason you are there is because it's the money. That's why you go and pick somebody's money and put it in a project that you have very little control, very little understanding, very little expertise in, and you call it a business. That is the most dangerous thing. Don't do that. Don't do that. If you want to do any business, start gradually. Even if it's your money, don't just go and put everything in it like that and hope that it will come. It's not hope. It's business. That's why people who succeed, you can see that there are a lot of things they get very close to. That's why they succeeded. It's not magic. Like the way where we live, most people think that a lot of things is favor, is God, is miracle, is prophecy. My prophet has called, those things. Don't bring those things into business. Get your facts right. It's not something, it's not lotto, it's not chance. When they are moving the plane from here to another country, there's no amount of fuel that they have to buy. They have to check. The engineers must check whether the plane is fit or not. The pilot must have his tools. He must understand. He must be trained. He must understand when he meets some weather, he understands it. There are a lot of things they know. They have learned it. Now you don't go and just pray that, oh, I don't know anything about piloting. I don't know anything about engineering. I don't know anything about all those things. But I've prayed. My prophet said that I can move this plane. That's not like that. There are things that you must understand. That's why you build gradually. That's why they don't say that go and lift that plane to 100 people to another country when you are training. When you're training, they won't do that. They train you with something else. They train you with something else where if you crash, nobody is going to die. They train you in the classroom. They train you with simulators. They train you with something different, not the life one. The same with business. You train with the letter. Small. Then when you start to understand it, then you can go in big like that. You test the concept. You don't just go and pick every money that you have worked for and put it in it like the way we did it, because we just wanted money. And thank God we got smarter. We got to understand that this is not the way to do it. And then we stopped all those nonsense and we started to develop things that we could control, we could predict, we could project. And so our growth is directly linked to if we are able to learn the processes, if you're able to make the right decisions, the right choices, if you're able to replicate ourselves more, if you're able to practice the things that we have to practice, if we understand, So now maybe somebody is calling you for project and is calling you because he understands that you can do this project. You have the capacity, you have the team, you have what it takes to do this project. You're not going to chase and pay right before they give you. They give you because they need you. And the more you can get jobs like that, the more you can get contracts like that, where you're not just because they need you, you can do it, you can deliver, and they can pay you every month, every 2 months. You can manage things, you understand the processes. Then it will seem like a business. But if you just there, somebody just calls you, like usually you will hear people calling you, we have this, we want you to come and do, we want 10%, those things. Those are not business. You're just doing something for revenue, and usually to get you into trouble. Usually to get you into trouble. Usually to get you into trouble. So if you have money somewhere, don't just go and use it like that. Save it. And if it's not your money and you want to go and borrow, go to the what is their name? Most of these microfinance people don't go. Keep yourself, learn the trade, understand it. If it gets to a point where you need money, just go and prepare proper documents and talk to the people who understand how that business should be financed. One of the most dangerous things is not to understand the money. It can put you into bad shape, but difficult situation. You can take care of. It can take toll on your health, on your relationships, on everything. And when you start business, you don't want to go through the debt problems. You don't want to go through the debt of obstructions. You don't want to go through that. It takes you. It takes every drive from you. It takes everything from you. Every time you're only thinking about just the debt, the people you owe, the institutions you owe, the people, the problems that's not, because the same head, the same energy, the same time you need to think for the business to grow. You need to go out for the business to grow. And yet if you started on the wrong note, when you started with people's money and you lost everything, now your whole thinking is what? Is how do I pay these people? What do I do? And you go through a lot of complications when you own institutions. You go through a lot of complications when you have paid your brother, your sister, your friend's money, and you have lost it. They will not understand that. They don't have to understand it. You went there to pick the money, which you didn't have to, because you didn't understand what you were doing, so you didn't need to pick somebody's money. The concept had to be tested to a certain level. Even when the concept has been tested, you can still lose the money. How much more you yourself, you don't even know what you're doing. And then you go and pick somebody's money because they gave you a project. If it's really a business where you're developing an idea, when you're developing a process where it's something you're evolving, you're developing something. If it's really like that, you will not pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 money from people. No, just one bit. And when you are losing, you can control it because you're paying attention. But when it's like the other one that you don't know, contract, you pick the money, you put it in the project. They have not paid you. They are saying that until you get it to a certain stage, they can pay you. Those kind of things. You keep on picking. You will keep on picking people's money, and by the time you see it, you have created a whole mess. You've created something for yourself. You have sunk some hole somewhere, and you cannot lift yourself from it because what you were doing, you thought it was a business, but it was not a business, and that is not how you want to start your business. So you're thinking it's good. You're thinking of starting a business. It's good. And a lot of people think that, without money you can't start a business. What you need is vim. What you need is patapa, is somebody's name. What you need is vigor. It's not so much going to beg somebody to get the money to put in it. If you so need somebody's money to put it in it before that business can be started, go for the little as much as you can. And then if anything, talk the person into the business. Maybe tell the person become part of it, because it's likely that we can lose this business. Don't trust your intelligence so much. It's so likely that first business may not work. And it's not unusual. It's just part of it because it's your first time. And so when you started that shop, when you started that business and it didn't work, it's not because you're not intelligent. It's because it's likely to be part of the process. We have collapsed about 10 companies. Just hit here, it doesn't work. Then you go here, you hit here, you pick somebody's money, you go there, it becomes trouble, you go here. Just like that. It's just crazy thing, crazy processes. Very few people come into business with that organization of thought, and they really understand what you're doing, and they get it right the first time. Very few people are able to do that. And even that, if you go to check their background, you can see the kind of family, the kind of things, the kind of trainings that they have had. That's why. So they were that much sure of a lot of things. That's why they got it right. The whole situation is chaotic. That's why you can easily lose it. So if you put 100 companies there, after 10 years, just about one will be doing well. The 99, especially in a kind of environment where You're not sure of anything. You're not sure of the person that who is working with you. You're not sure. You're borrowing at a very high rate. You're not sure of it. The person who you are using the money to work for him may jump tomorrow and tell you that he will not even pay. All kind of things come up. So this is not something that you want to go and borrow somebody's money. Then you just go and meet any stranger and say that give me 100,000, give me 200,000. When you have never done this before, don't do that. And if you have your money, then build it gradually. Build it when it gets to a point that you understand. Let's say you have 5,000 to open a shop. I don't know. Maybe you can try with five. Maybe we can try with 500. Maybe you can try with 1,000. Just find a way of starting it with as little as you can and start to receive revenue from that business as little as you can. If you are green, if you're naive and you have never done anything before in business, don't go and take big money and be so much certain. And don't go and follow hallucinations. Don't go and follow those promises from people. Just start with a little because every money that moves from your pocket is not coming back. Once it goes, it's not coming back. Once it goes, it's not coming back. So you can, before you see it, you have spent all the money quickly and you have not even started the business yet. And you don't have to start so big. Nobody has to say that, oh, the place is very nice and you don't need all those. What you need is the revenue. Is the concept working? Do people want to pay for it? Do you understand it? Can you control the flow? Can you control the cost? Can you project that this business can grow? Those are the things that you need. Don't just go and you will create a problem for yourself. And by the time you see it, you can't even sleep because you did not understand that you don't borrow to go and start a concept that you have never done. So when you don't do that, build gradually. It gets to a point where you understand what you're doing. Maybe you can, but even that, if you're going to pick any money that they are charging you more than 2% a month, be careful because, listen, very few people can do proper business and make 30% profit a year. Very few people. A lot of people can never do business and make more than 30% profit a year, especially if you're going to pay all the other things that we have to pay. If you're going to pay the taxes, if you're going to pay the SNET, if you're going to pay all the other things, if you're going to, because the cost of doing business is very expensive. So if you're going to borrow somebody's money, even from a bank, when they are charging you 30-40%, the thing is that the business cannot even make that money. And so once they give you that money, what they have done is that usually we do that out of our ignorance. So what they have done is that they have set us on a path that we will find it difficult to pay that money. And then you become a criminal, you become a bad person. Meanwhile, you are not a bad person. The only thing is that you didn't understand what you're doing. And they, because of greed, will also not really even look at the business. Because if all these banks, if they really understand what it takes to grow a business and to multiply and to get profit, they will not give anybody loan around 30-40%. Nobody. That's why most of them are also struggling. Why? Because if it's business, everybody must make some profit. So, but if it's about 10% a year, 15% a year, it's likely that the person can make maybe 10%, 20%, 30%. So it can pay you and still keep a little because you don't need boom. You just need to understand the concept, gradually. And once it starts to pick, when you grow, you will be fine. But if you go to most of these finance, this finance, you are the one going everywhere. Because when you start like that, you're crazy. It's like you have taken weed. Nobody will, when they explain, you don't understand because you think you're obsessed. When they even see that all the choices that you're making, they're going to put you in trouble as stubborn as people who start business, that's how they are. They're stubborn. That's why they started business in the first place. That kind of disposition, that kind of thing can put you in trouble. By the time you see it 5 years time, you are in difficult situation. It's all because you didn't understand this. There is something we call debt obstructions, and they usually catch people who are very much shallow in terms of loans, debt, and how they impact the business that you're starting. The business that you're starting. So you have got to manage that kind of situation. You have got to think through You have really got to think through, because all my interactions with a lot of people, this is one of the things that has, one of the things that have put a lot of people in bad situation, because you started with something that you didn't need. You didn't need to start it with in the first place. You didn't need to. You just have to grow it gradually. Even those who understood it, when they got to a point that they brought in debt at this, yeah, because our debt is very expensive. Don't forget, it's very expensive. Very expensive. If somebody is taking you 30% a year, it's so costly. You cannot pay it back. You can't. You struggle. And if your business is able to pay this, you're very good. You're very good. It means that if you didn't start with that, you probably would do far more better. So it's not something that if I were to start anything, if I were to start afresh, I would not want to consider that, because it's just an obstruction. It's just an obstruction. And as much as you can start on a very clean note, stay out of all these connections and ministers and all those, stay out of that. There are a lot that you can do credibly, without begging, without crying, without doing all kind of things. You don't need to start a business with contracts. That's not part of it. Go and look at, maybe you can sell something, maybe you can develop something. Those are, for me, those are the businesses that really solve need in society. You look through the businesses that are solving need. Contracts don't solve any need. And and to be able to develop the culture of the construction company that really solves. Maybe you have built a very diligent, on task, cost control kind of construction company. You're organized. People are looking for you because you do good work. Then maybe that is a concept that is unique. It's a model that can work for you. But majority of the people who start all these companies looking for contract from government to go to all these institutions, the government institutions, they're everywhere. They call some of them food soldiers, all kind of people, register, have all kind of classifications. Those are not businesses. Those are just hungry people looking for something to eat. That's not what you need. If you're an entrepreneur, if you want to build something, you just have to be clear that I want to be in an area that I can grow gradually. And I don't have to go and pick somebody's money to put it, because usually, almost all the time, you will lose the money and it will hang on your neck for years, and then you just have to do everything, anything, anyhow, to get by, and that also pushes you to an area where you don't seem to even learn anything proper, so you don't need those. You don't need those. If you want to develop as a business person, don't start with debt. If it's 200 that you can start your business, we'll start it. I don't know what kind of business anyway, but whatever it is, if it's the first one, learn it well. Learn it well, because anybody's money that you pick, you will lose it. Your own money, you will lose it anyway. And when you lose it, don't cry. It's part of it. But it's likely that you lose the money. So why would you want to go to microfinance and go and take that kind of money from them and go and start a business that you yourself, if you don't know that you lose the business, you're deceiving yourself. You will lose. Or it will not work as you initially thought it would. Or you will not you may even start selling paper, and maybe the business that will make you successful may be selling something entirely different or developing something entirely different. So those are the reasons, part of the reasons why you don't have to go and take somebody's money to start a business, especially the ones that are charging a lot per month. It's dangerous. It's dangerous. So debt obstructions, they will choke your head, they will choke your emotions. You will think the world is coming to an end. There will be a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. You'll be worried, and you'll be hiding and running away from people because you went to start your business with loan, which you didn't have to start. Sometimes 10 years you still don't know what to do, and it's still, because it delays a lot of people. It delays when you start a business with those kind of money. Because the thing about money that you didn't work for is that when you're spending it, it doesn't work on your mind. You see anybody splashing money like that, wasting money, it's because they didn't work for it. If you work for that money, you will not destroy it like that. And usually when they give you loans, that's the fee. You know, you're spending it because it's in your account, is with you, but you don't know how to work for it. So that's why you went to buy a car with that loan. That's why you went to buy nice shoes, nice computers. You decorated the office because you didn't work for it. You didn't know how. You don't know, or you didn't know how to work for that kind of money to come in. But if you worked to get that 50,000, you went through the sun, you were sweating, and you were able to generate that 50,000 from that business. You will not spend it the way you would spend it if it was a loan. You know, the way they'll give you a loan. When you're spending it, you don't care. But if you have to work for it, you will not spend it like that. You don't go and buy a very nice phone with that loan and with that money that you sweated for. No, no, no. You will be careful. You will think twice. You will scrutinize every money that you spend because you work for it, because you were there, you were sitting down. So here, if you start business and you go through all these microfinance people to pick money and say that, you know, I need 100,000, they give you and they're charging 5%, that is suicide that you're going to commit. Especially because most people who go for this because they have a contract. You have a contract. That's not the business. Go and look for something that you can solve. You know, there's a need, maybe there's waste, maybe there's farming, maybe there's a cloth line that you can establish, maybe there's a manufacturing something that, and do it gradually. Build it because your best asset is the expertise that you have built, your understanding of the business, the knowledge that you have, how you can manage the finance. Until you come to that point, you don't have a business. No matter who gives you what kind of money, you will lose it. And that's why you see that most people, I mean, the people that I've encountered, anybody in difficult situation, is because they started to be in difficult situation when they started to pick money that they were not ready to handle. And those monies came with a lot of cost. You know, you're paying 10% a month, 15% a month. Some people, these financial institutions can be crazy. So they had peace, they were working, they were growing gradually. Some of them, then they went to take this money. And the next minute, everything started to turn around. You know, even if you pick for your friend, then your friend becomes an enemy because you will just lose it like that. You're not ready, and the cost is high. So don't. It's an obstruction. It will destroy you. It will put you in a bad shape. If you're going to go for any of those, make sure you go for the cheapest. The cheapest, not the 10% a month, 5% a month kind of money that they give to us. Eh, My experience has not been that good. It's terrible. You know, it stresses the business. You don't become a good manager. You make bad decisions and choices all the time. You become dishonest. Nobody starts to believe you because you were not ready for it. You don't need it, especially when you want to start. At the point of starting, no matter who tells you, because usually that's what they tell you. It's not even those who are developing gradually. What they tell us is when they give you contract, they will even show you who give you loan. They have given you one contract, they say 100,000 Ghana cedis or 1 million Ghana cedis, and they tell you that, oh, go to my friend. He also has microfinance. He will give you 5% a month. He will give you 200,000. You don't understand anything in the lie. Then you just go and put yourself in trouble. The next minute you can't sleep because usually you thought you were doing business. That's no business. Oh. It's your friend who gave you contract. That's no business. And he showed you how to go and get one. And then at that point that they told you that something is happening, they're moving from there. And you credited the money, you took the loan, you put it in that project, and 6 months time they have not paid. 1 year they have not paid. You're sweating everywhere. You're going from prayer camp to prayer camp. It's not prayer camp. It's data that you don't know. That is not a business. Don't start something you don't understand with people's money like that. You crash it. People who succeed in any idea that they build is when they have come to the point of understanding what they do. And if you really understand what you're doing, you will not be that quick to go and take this kind of money that they're giving everywhere. So, my name is Kwabena. I come to close. I'm talking of debt obstructions, and don't start with loans. And make sure that what you're doing, they call it business. If It's this contract, you're chasing. Come and supply t-shirt, come and supply chalk, come and supply this. Usually they even take money before they give you the contract, those things. If that is what you want to do, no problem. But that is not the business. That's something that you're doing for money. The drive is money. For business, the drive is more than money. You see something that you think you can solve. You see something that you think will benefit society. You see something that you think you can build something around it. That's different. And you test it beyond friends. You test it beyond family. You test it to the market, and gradually. And you are not in haste to go and borrow 10% a month, 5% a month to go and put it in it, because you know that anything can happen. So you gradually build it. And if you have to pull maybe one or two people resources, not too long resources. I have this idea, I'm working on it, it's speaking. If you have 10,000, come and put it in and let's see how we can work on this together. That is better, because then it's your money, somebody's money. You are thinking, you're planning, you work for that money, so you don't want to lose it like that, even though the likelihood that you lose it is very high. But if they gave you this 100,000 from wherever they give you, because you didn't work for it, even if you're losing it, you will not see. We pick some people's money in a project. We're just pushing the money in the project like that. We're not even thinking. By the time you saw it, we're locked up in serious situation. Serious situation. And they were counting their interest every month. They didn't care whether we were being paid or not paid, because we signed the agreement, and it took us a lot of years, a lot of months to correct some of those. And some of those are even still hanging, because when you find yourself in trouble, it's usually because you were you're not thoughtful. That's why you got into the trouble in the first place. So business trouble, where a lot of people have found themselves in it, because we didn't think through, we didn't plan well. We just were looking at just the money. And once you're looking at just the money, you become blind, and you'll be hit. You get off, like somebody who started microfinance. He works in a bank, and he started microfinance, and he let some people handle it. Before you saw it, the people had run everything into the ditch. They had wasted the money on themselves. They're giving it to friends and family, and the guy was in debt, big one. The only reason he started that was what? Was money. He didn't have a direct concept to say, okay, maybe I want to help this kind of group of people to grow their businesses. And instead of me charging them 5% a month, maybe I want to charge them 1% or something a month. Because the concept that I want to develop is just beyond the profit. But if you are charging somebody 5% a month, you know that it's not going to work. They will lose the money, not because they're bad people, but you are charging too high. Your money is too expensive. And that's what is happening. So all these big companies that were charging all this, they will have trouble. That's not how. They cannot pay. That's the fact. They can pay. And you pay them, they work for government. Anybody who is speaking government project, what do you think was happening? So debt obstruction. Start business that you can grow gradually, you can see, you can build. Don't just go and take the loan like that, even if they are pushing you to take. Because they will push you to take, and if they push you to take it, that's not mean they don't want it back. They will want it back. And they will want it back full. And you'll be crying on the ground, because usually. And the thing, there's no pressure like debt pressure. If you have a business and you're in debt, there's nothing like it. It's dangerous. So you want to stay yourself, you want to push yourself off that. You want to develop this concept gradually, and you don't want to be the one who wants to pick every money into contract. Don't forget, a lot of the contract is not business. It's money that you want. The one that is developing it gradually is likely to be building something close to a business. The one who's looking for contract, paying bribe everywhere is not a business. And usually that's why they don't get anything. They even buy a Land Cruiser, the next 4 years down the line, everything is being taken away from them because they didn't have enough infrastructure. Business infrastructure, they didn't have it. They didn't build it. Personally, they didn't even develop that. Because everything is just connection like that. So you don't need money don't go and borrow to start that business. Build it gradually from where you are. And as much as you can, stay out of trouble, stay out of greed, control the dishonesty. It will help you. And if anything that you build with that, you see that it starts to make sense because you're exerting energy before you can get results. You're investing your time, you're investing proper decisions, proper management. You're studying the market, you're looking, you're becoming better. You don't have to be in competition with anybody, just do the one that you understand and keep growing. It's better that way. And you can handle all the other normal pressure that will come out of that. But if you go through this the other way around, the connection, the pressure that will come, you can't stand it. You run away. It will just kill your dream, your vision. So that obsession or that obstructions, don't start with loan. Don't start. Okay, this is not here. If the loan, maybe grant, but no loan. If it's loan, it's dangerous. If they're going to take it back, it's dangerous. It's a starting business. Anything at all can happen. You can lose it. You can lose the money. And if you lose it, it does not mean you're not intelligent. It just means that some things beat you. And 1,001 things are trying to beat you anyway. If the idea doesn't beat you, the people you start with will start to fight with you. If that does not work, somebody else, you start, another person will start the same thing. All kind of things. The next minute they say the dollar is changing. You go there, the supplier is not bringing anything. All kind of things can happen. And it's okay. It's the level of the maturity of our market. So if the things that you can control, part of it is the money. And you don't want to go and just be wasteful by taking money you don't know, which comes at a huge cost. And you're a fine gentleman living your life clean. The next minute, you have gone to take somebody's 10,000. It's charging you 5% a month. 2 years down the line, you owe 30,000. And you don't know how to do it. You can't understand it. Say that I didn't even know. Yes, that's why you didn't have to. So you start with the one that you can build gradually. That way, you'll be fine. Maybe after you become very rich, now you understand what it takes to build a business. You can do the other way. Maybe it will not apply to you. But if it's your first one, don't just be driven by greed and money. Be careful with the loans that you take. It can destroy you. It can even take you. It can take your life if you don't take care. Because there are contractors who have gone because they couldn't handle the debt, loans that they owed the bank. They couldn't. So they just scrambled. And they thought that they had a business. It was not a business. It was a connection that they were doing. It's a business. It's driven by innovation, by leadership, by thinking, by planning, by discipline. You can control it. You can predict it. You can project it. That's a business. These are all the other ones. You can't do any of those. So thank you very much for watching. Control that. If you want to build a business, don't just follow like that. And that obstruction. Don't start with rules. It's not the best. Thank you very much.